Welcome to Straight Talk with Eugene Chan. We are delighted to have Ms. Starry, the chair of the Democratic Alliance for the Betterment and Progress of Hong Kong, in short TVB, here this evening to talk about whether a good Hong Kong story can help reignite Hong Kong as Asia's world city. Ms. Lee is an accountant by profession and a legislative councillor for the Kowloon Central Geographic Constituency. Of note, she was the youngest elected district councillor at the time and was also the only person to hold positions in 3 different levels of representative councils, namely the executive, legislative and district councils. Welcome, Starry.
Hello, Eugene.
Right, so Starry, much has been talked about the need to tell a good Hong Kong story, even more importantly, a good China story. I think one of the main reasons is we have a lot of Western rhetoric about all the wrong stories of Hong Kong and China. So when you being in politics for all these years, when you lobby for votes, do you find difficulty with all this negative sentiment to get people to support you, especially you are kind of classified as a pro-government politician?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, I think, when we visit the ASEAN country to tell the right Hong Kong story, right China story, well, people are most concerned with the quarantine measures imposed by the Hong Kong government. With our sharing, they now understand that it has been now uplifted. We are grateful for John Lee's timely move to uplift the hotel quarantine arrangement. We believe that people from ASEAN country will come shortly to visit Hong Kong to invest, to study, and to work. Right.
I think people really want to know, with all that has happened in the world in the last few years, a lot of negative stories of Hong Kong, and I've got friends and relatives from overseas and calling us and show their concerns. Do you find that difficult, especially, as I said earlier, when you're sort of classified as more pro-government, that the voters in Hong Kong, they're not as supporting you as before? Do you feel that at all, even in Hong Kong?
Well, I don't think so. We go out to ASEAN country to tell the right Hong Kong story with figures and example. We share with them what the development and achievement that have been in Hong Kong over the past 25 years under one country, two system with figures and example. Most of the people who talk to us, share with us, respond positively. They have full confidence to Hong Kong, especially after the opening up of the Hong Kong quarantine policy.
Right. Going back to the story that I just mentioned, why do we need to tell the right Hong Kong story? Why do you have to provide figures and facts to those people? Are they being already questioning Hong Kong, or are they already losing confidence before you go?
Well, I think, as far as I'm concerned, I don't think there have been any misunderstanding. If there ought to be any, with our good Hong Kong story, I think they now better understand Hong Kong's later development with fact and figure.
The reason why I say that is sometimes, about the Xinjiang, for example, about the Hong Kong national security law, people say that Hong Kong have no more press freedom, Hong Kong people can be taken in without any reason. All these stories has been floating around. Are you sure that they're not being, I'm sure they heard it. Do you think they're concerned at all?
Well, I think most of the people we met, some of them asked the question about the quarantine arrangement. Some do have asked about the future of one country, two system, because Hong Kong have already reached our 25th anniversary. We share with them the speech delivered by presidency. We re-emphasize that one country, two system is a good system that is welcomed by our nation, Hong Kong people, and the international society.
Right.
And presidency do emphasize that the system should continue and without any reason to change it. And we pass on this message, and people are now have clarified the misunderstanding, if there is any. Well, based on the experience that we have, really not many have the misunderstanding. But if there is any, then after our good story, they should have clarify a lot.
Well, which is a good thing to know. I mean, you have mentioned a few times in this show that about the ASEAN countries. I think I'm sure you must be referring to the 3 delegations that you led to visit the 5 ASEAN countries, like the Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, Thailand, and Vietnam.
Yeah.
So when you go and talk to them, I mean, why do you choose ASEAN countries? Because in the past, for Hong Kong delegations, we usually go to the Western countries, like the UK or even the US. Why do you choose the ASEAN countries? Is it because of the recent geopolitical tension between our homeland and the West?
Well, as mentioned by you, in the contemporary global power competition, Hong Kong being an inseparable part of China, Hong Kong has a significant role and task of enhancing the national relationship with ASEAN country. DAB, therefore, taking its unique times in space, its 30th anniversary and the 25th anniversary of Hong Kong's return to the Chinese sovereignty, we march our step to the ASEAN country, tell the right Hong Kong story, share with them the development and achievement that have been in Hong Kong over the past 25 years under one country, two systems.
Right. Was this your party's initiative, or was it the government idea that you got? I mean, definitely there are no government officials with your trips or legislators. Who sent you, in other words? This is from your own party?
Oh, yes, of course. Yes. We decide, to take this unique times in space. That is our 30th anniversary and the 25th University of Hong Kong return to the Chinese sovereignty.
Right.
And there is need to tell the right Hong Kong story with figures and example. And apart from that, we set forth to them the opportunity that is Hong Kong available to them, for doing the mutual business and also interaction among us.
So the purpose is really, you feel it's the right thing to do,
and
you should go and build up this relationship. So the purpose is quite clear. Now, would you say that your purpose has been achieved?
Oh, yeah, the result of the tour is really constructive. First of all, our tour is widely reported in both local and foreign media. Secondly, we have built up, closer relationship with over 50 local Chamber of Commerce, alliance, and different organizations in ASEAN country. We have met over 500 leaders and representatives. We have explained to them the latest development of Hong Kong, share with them the opportunity they have to invest and come to Hong Kong. We will further build up that relationship to do some follow-up work.
Right. I mean, you have come back now for a few weeks. Can you share with the viewers, are there any tangible outcomes as yet? I mean, you mentioned that it was very encouraging. People wanted to come to Hong Kong. Anything they can share that is it in line?
Oh, yes. They respond positively to our visit. Some of them are actually planning to visit Hong Kong in return. I believe they are coming soon. I know that one chamber in Singapore has decided to visit Hong Kong in return. That is the first thing. The second thing is we are invited by the larger Chamber of Commerce in Indonesia to attend one of the very important conference, that is B20, the conference to be held before the G20. We are planning to invite the business sector in Hong Kong to attend the B20 conference. Also, we are lining up some Zoom conferences relating to IT sectors, financial markets, professional services, and maybe University of Hong Kong to the business sector of ASEAN country. We plan to invite representatives from the Hong Kong government, business sector, so that we can further link them together.
Right, that's very encouraging.
Yeah.
So Chair, as if you had watched our shows, our viewers will tell you that we always use Singapore as sort of as a good friend, but we use it as an example because a lot of our businesses and people are now thinking of setting up further businesses in Singapore. So when you are there, they're all ASEAN countries. Will they have a more likelihood for them to want to work with Singapore as compared to Hong Kong? And what advantages do you see Hong Kong has over Singapore in that matter?
Well, there's no doubt that Hong Kong and Singapore are competing with each other in some area. Well, I believe the competition is constructive. Well, but we have to admit that Hong Kong and Singapore are competing in some area, but also we are cooperating with each other in certain other area. ASEAN is such a such a region with 10 Asia countries with a total population of approximately 660 million. Huge potential. Like the place I visit, Indonesia, it is undergoing its industrialization and digitization together, full of opportunity. I believe this region can accommodate both Hong Kong and Singapore. The whole region can develop and work together.
Right, Starry, we have to take a break now, but viewers, stay with us. We will be right back. Welcome back. With us tonight is DAB Chair Ms. Starry Lee, and we have been talking about whether a good Hong Kong story can help to reignite us as Asia's world city. So, Chair, in the first half, you talk about your ASEAN trip, and the point you make are people are interested to come, and then you have also been able to establish some connections with, hopefully, with the business sector as well as the government. So, your purpose of the trip has been met, which congratulations.
Thank you.
So let's talk about Hong Kong now. Since you're here, yesterday is the first day that we're going to have a new quarantine measure. We used to be a 3+4, now becomes 0+3. And for the viewers' benefit, 0+3 meaning no more days for hotel quarantine for overseas travels, but still have to undergo 3 days of medical surveillance. Do you think this is a good thing for Hong Kong?
Well, we're grateful for CE's timely move to uplift the hotel quarantine, which appeared to be really and very constructive. We pass on this measure initiative to most of our friends, like our friends in Indonesia and Singapore. They respond really positive, and some of them are planning to visit Hong Kong in return. This is part of the result of our trip, and they are actually looking forward for visiting Hong Kong in return after the inbound restriction uplift.
So really a timely...
Yeah, really a timely and, a constructive move.
But is Hong Kong still attractive to tourists? I'm sure you're going to say yes, but you think about it. Hong Kong is a paradise for good cuisine. But for the 3 days, they can't go out to all those places because they are not, they haven't turned the color right yet, they haven't got the right color yet. But they have to wear masks outdoors. So is this still attractive? Will people still come?
Well, Hong Kong, we have our attractiveness to most of the ASEAN country and also people from different parts of the world. But of course, due to the previous inbound quarantine restriction, there are hesitation for people to come to Hong Kong. We have to admit that. I believe that the administration under John Lee is moving step by step. We can see that, right? When he first, take the post of CE, it is still 7 days quarantine. Shortly afterward, they changed to 3+4. That is a step forward, and now it changed to 0+3. I can, estimate or predict that we're going to relax most of the inbound restriction in later time.
Right, but are you still worried about the overloading of our hospital system or medical system? If there are further outbreaks, are you concerned?
Well, yes, of course. Therefore, I support the administration to do it step by step. We have to look at figures, and also we have to look at our the hospital situation and also the situation in our community. We have everything. We have to strike a balance.
Right. And much has been said about how to fight this pandemic, although it's kind of things that are sort of more under control or more predicted. vaccination is still a very important measure, and it's still the rate is still far from most ideal for the elderly or the very young. Has DAB done anything to help the government on this?
Oh yes, from the very beginning, we do work with the government to help people to do more vaccination. We organize, I can't remember, lot of vaccination program for people in the district. We work with the bureau to go hand in hand with the medical people to go up to their home and try to explain to them the vaccination program and clarify their concern, if any. We successfully ask some of the people or help people to understand why they have to take the vaccination. And some of the elderly and some of the young parents, they do have concern. We have to admit that. Therefore, I believe that we need more medical people, we need more doctors, professionals to come out to help them to clarify their question, their concern, so that they can take it at ease.
Right. Chair, I mean, DAB is the largest political party in Hong Kong, and I mean, I think it's one of the, in terms of average age, it must be one of the most suited age for the Hong Kong people, because you are from different 18 districts, both geographical as well as functional constituency. So the fact that you are going out to help to I will use a market but promote Hong Kong at this important time, I think will be appreciated by many viewers. But that's only part of it. I mean, to reignite Hong Kong. I mean, the title of the show say reignite Hong Kong, because Hong Kong flame kind of being put off by the last 3 years of the riots, and then you have the pandemic. We have much stricter quarantine measure as compared to the rest of the world. What would you, or how would you suggest to the government? How can we reignite this city? And what role do you think a DAB can play?
Well, after our visit, we have make policy recommendation to the administration, including the CE and the minister. We have made 8 policy recommendations. To sum up, we believe that Hong Kong should open up more and wider to ASEAN country. Actually, not only ASEAN country, because we have to maintain our openness. We have to be the world financial center. Therefore, we have to be more open up. The financial market, professional services, our university can serve the ASEAN country better. The government should, of course, take more initiative to invite people, business in ASEAN to come to Hong Kong to visit, to invest, to study, and to work. I believe from our visit, most of the people respond very positive to the future role played by Hong Kong. Therefore, I have full confidence that they will come and they will invest and work in Hong Kong.
Well, anything else apart from locally, anything the government should do? How can we, a lot of help have been given to the businesses and people. There have been like consumption vouchers, be helping employ the staff. Any new ideas that you have given to the CE with the upcoming policy address?
Apart from the inbound quarantine restriction, which are now, dealt with by the CE in a timely position. But of course, we are also looking forward for the future development, right? Now it is 0+3. Still, we need to look at the fact and figure to see whether or not we have the condition to move further. That is the first thing. The second thing is, I think the government is now really need to think about how to attract business and also talent to come and work in Hong Kong. When we met people from different sectors of Hong Kong, one of the very common issue raised by them is we are really in face of labor shortage, from professional to different kinds of workers like driver or people who work in the home of elderlies. Actually, they are lacking of labor force. Therefore, I think the government needs to have the policy revised, how to attract talent, how to keep the talents in Hong Kong.
Yeah. Have you ever thought of working with the local Chamber of Commerce? Like, for example, we have the chairman from the Malaysian Chamber of Commerce, Dato' Casey Khan, coming here. Have you talked to them? Because they will be a very good link to help you to keep on the good relationship you have set up, say, with, for example, Malaysia. Have you met them yet?
Oh yes, we met over 50 local Chamber of Commerce. They have a good link in the local community. I believe apart from working with the local Chamber of Commerce, I think the most important thing is the government have to, take the initiative to have their policy initiative to attract talents to come. You look at other places like Singapore and also UK, Australia, Canada, and major cities in China. If they want to attract some enterprise talent, they will have very active policy initiative to do so. Hong Kong, before we are a free market, we mostly concentrate on building up the infrastructure, building up the good condition to attract most of the business to come. But I think now we have to think about they should be take the active role.
Right. So Starry, over the show, you have shared with the viewers your observations and the connections that you have met and felt when you visited ASEAN countries and your suggestions to the government. How about with the mainland? I mean, it's still not closing. We have been discussing whether dynamic zero clearance or whether living with the COVID. And now we are not living with the COVID, but we are moving more towards that direction. But when you're over that direction, the sight of being able to link up with mainland seems to be a little bit further away. Do you agree, and are you concerned?
Well, CE do emphasize that we want both things to happen. That is, we want Hong Kong to reconnect to the world, and also we have to also work closely with the central government to express to them a lot of Hong Kong people do want to go to China without the quarantine requirement. But it takes time and it takes steps. I think at this moment we should hopefully ask for more quota. That is the first thing. The second thing is we have proposed to the government, and this proposal had been accepted by the government. That is, we should make use of the facility provided by central government to do certain day of quarantine in Hong Kong first, so as to release the hotel pleasure in China.
Right.
Yeah, I think the government have a task force to work further on that.
Right. Right. So thank you, Starry, for coming to share with us your party's contribution to the good story of Hong Kong and what you have done to the ASEAN countries. And hopefully this initiative could serve as a model for further similar approach. Have a pleasant evening and good night.